Charcoal's got my station.
Sarah, come here. It's about you. I mean, sort of. So incredible. You're not going to believe this. Sit down. You are going to love this. What?
Has been compiled from several witnesses. Once again, Sarah Connor, 35, mother of two, brutally shot to death in her home this afternoon.
You're dead, honey.
In other late-breaking news, Teamster representative...
Hello, and welcome to the SP Film Viewers podcast.
We're your hosts, Sophie and Paul, where we talk about movies I've never seen.
And sometimes movies I've never seen.
You can find us on all major podcast platforms.
Please remember to subscribe and review our show wherever you listen.
And follow us on social media. Just search for SP Film Viewers.
And now, on with the show. Come with me if you want to live is a famous line from the movie we're going to be covering this week, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger in James Cameron's film The Terminator. You might remember James Cameron from his director of The Titanic.
Okay. Selling it.
I mean, do you know of the
I'll be back and yeah.
Yeah, that's another line that's in this film.
I don't really know what the Terminator is though. Like I know it's Arnie, but I don't really.
So from osmosis of like pop culture, you kind of know of when you hear the name Terminator and you associate Arnold Schwarzenegger's character with
but that's about it.
I don't know what.
I don't know what it's about. I just know he'll be back. I don't know where he's gone or where he's coming to.
Uh-huh. Right.
I don't know why I know it. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And Arnie's not the best actor in the world, is he? So, the only other thing I've seen him in is a Christmas film.
Yeah, Jingle All the Way.
Yeah. And
You're my number one customer.
Even then, he sounds like a robot kind of character.
Well, I mean, that is what the character is in this, so he's almost like...
is that
perfect.
Why they casted him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he wanted to play one of the other characters in the film, but I think they decided to go with him playing the thing.
Oh yeah, because that's the only thing he's got going for him. And really, he does look like a
big, bulky machine.
The way he speaks, I don't know, it's... if he has another interview with somebody, is that how he speaks? Is that just his voice?
That's his voice. Austrian. He's Austrian, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't think every Austrian person sounds like that still.
No, but...
he sounds like he struggles to understand what he's saying.
That'd be like, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And he's American, so... Which they've done, films together. But, yeah, so the film is like a action sci-fi, let's say. But it's just something I wanted to... I mean, if it was down to me, I would be go to Terminator 2 first, because I definitely think that's the more preferred one. But
it is down to you.
But I think it's go from... Also, as I look back for me on what I remember from this first one, because I've got more knowledge of watching Terminator 2 more than I have this one. So for me to go back and revisit in a way of it, but for you to understand what the world is and how this has kind of impacted things with it, that's why I wanted to do it. So
well, you've just said basically there's shit acting from
no, I didn't say it was shit acting.
We did.
No, we didn't.
We did. That was confirmed. And it's sci-fi, which I don't like, and action.
And do you remember when it was way back when we called RoboCop? So it's kind of
Did we have a guest on for that?
Yeah, we had. We'll get to our patrons in a minute, I suppose. But Mark and John from 100 Things You Learn from Film.
Yeah. I remember disappointing them. It's really hard when you've got somebody who's really raving about a film because they've grown up with it or something.
Yeah, for me, I remember I didn't rate it that highly, and it's not something should be the target audience for that film, but it wasn't something I really grew up with. But I think I prefer these two films than I do that. But it's me. But I'll read you the back of the box or the 4K steelbook I've got here. I think it's rather than I think it's kind of surmises it in a roundabout way for what they've.
Do you think it's worthy of a 4K steelbook?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Why?
Well, I just feel like you must really like the film if you've bought a 4K steelbook of it. It's like, is it 10 worthy then already? Before we go into it,
that's to be determined. But I think just, I mean, if you look at it, it's still really quite nice. Like.
Yeah, but in my opinion, it's like, well, the case is nice, but is the film great? Because there's like, I'd be like, I'm only wanting to pay for a steelbook for a brilliant film.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be
like Barbie.
Well, yeah, I'll let you know.
So, film synopsis, or what it has on the back, reads as follows: an indestructible cyborg, a Terminator, is sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, the woman whose unborn son will become humanity's only hope in a future war against machines.
So something's future. Is that what the sci-fi bit is with the futuristic?
And well, the fact there's like cyborgs, like a advanced robot, really. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not like, oh yeah, really like. How long is it? Action, so an hour and a half.
No, 1:07. So that's like
hour 40.
Hour 40, like almost hour 50, really. So just under 2 hours, which is, I think, to be fair, is more the standard for.
No, an action film. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of a horror. Yeah, you said not all horrors, but yeah, you're confirming it.
Well, I say not all horrors. That's still the case. Some of like the early ones, yeah, but now even some of those have come, unless they've got something to say that are kind of like dragged out for the sake of it. But yeah. I was say about the patrons, we'll do that now.
Okay.
Sorry. So, thank the patrons for their continuing support with the show. If you want to vote for a movie we watch once a month, which you'll have a chance because that'll be the next one after this episode, and have your name read out as we're going to do in a moment, then all you need to do is go over to patreon.com/SP Film Viewers, and you get those perks, and it will help support the show. So, I've already said Mark from 100 Things Them for Film, but he's another plug there. And we've also got Ben from Ben Pushball Health and Nico from The Good, The Bad, The Weird podcast.
We've also got Alex and Shani on Instagram under the handles Desperately Seeking Username and SDOG.
We've got Jonesy and Emma, who are at Weight Loss Jonesy and M_Hayton.
And then we've got Gren, who's under the handle CGren_draw. And lastly but not least, my mum.
There we have it. So now we'll go and...
We'll be back.
Yeah, we will be back. We'll be back. So yes, we'll be back after watching The Terminator.
Just let me go.
Listen and understand that Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
Can you stop it?
I don't know. With these weapons, I don't know.
And we are back. Having watched The Terminator. What did you think of it all then? Was his acting like... Did he suit the...
Yeah, he suits being a robot. Because he is a robot.
Oh, uh-huh.
I think... I didn't realise he was bad.
Oh, you thought he was, like, protector of...
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, defending against the machines.
Yeah, I just... I didn't even know he was a robot, really. I just thought he was like... I don't know what I thought he was. Just like this invincible human or something, like...
Well, I mean, in a way, but it's just not human. Yeah, indestructible.
Yeah, but I didn't realise he was metal underneath. Like, he's got like it's not got bone structure, he's got like robotic structure in them.
Pistons and all that.
They've said they've got they put fleshy skin to make him look like a human.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that until I watched it. I don't really know I didn't really know who or what was terminating what. Either.
I said on.
No, but I mean, before then, I didn't know that. I don't really think I knew what the plot of the film
was. What I read wasn't good enough for.
No, it was, but I think when you see it out there, and I'm aware of the Terminator.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about prior to watching this in the first place, right? Yeah,
all I'm aware of was he was the Terminator.
Yeah.
It was Arnie.
But you assume he was just shooting things. Yeah.
I don't know,
like a hitman kind of thing.
Yeah, more like close-ups of him, but I just thought he was the goodie. So it really threw me off. And even with the description, I didn't know I assumed he was called the Terminator, but I didn't know that meant he was terminating people. I don't really know what I thought.
Okay.
But it took me by surprise. Well, obviously, first thing, we get a lot of naked men falling from the sky.
Yeah, I don't know why that needs to be a thing. To go back in time, you have to have no clothes on. Well, it's not like a werewolf situation where you rip your clothes and then you wake up naked. But
apparently, it's something to do with the skin or something to get you through the time machine. I don't know. There's a load of rubbish. Yeah, Doctor Who does it all the time. Yeah, he's fine. He's never naked, is he?
Yeah, or anybody else.
Yeah, all the Marvel films like Doctor Strange whizzingly through the, he's still got his cloak on every time he goes through. But you see, don't get me wrong, Arnie's physique is nothing to complain about.
You said he's got
bigger boobs than me. I don't understand. His arms are nice, but then he's top heavy. He's a bit like a pigeon.
He's probably he would say he skipped leg day, kind of.
Yeah, 100%. He looked like he could topple over.
Yeah.
Because he's just henched at the top.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say though he's the most attractive man in the world. If I had a choice between you and him, I'd pick you.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's good to know.
Yeah, he's not doing anything for me. He's just not.
No, well, there's muscles.
No.
Too much.
It's just and his face is just not very
hard. Very stern, isn't it? Yeah.
If he cracked a smile, it'd be surprising. And he's very expressive.
I mean, he's playing. You should say he's playing the part very well for that, isn't he? Because he's got no emotion.
I think, but then
you think he's just miserable all the time.
But you compare him to Jingle All the Way, and his emotions and
he smiles in that film,
but it's really hard. It looks like it's a challenge. Now this makes me actually think: is he a cyborg?
Is he actually?
Yeah. And that film was just made about him.
It's the real truth behind her.
Well, yeah, because I just don't feel like he's a proper human being.
Right.
He's not very expressive. For an actor, an actor normally has to be very expressive in the face. I know he's been a robot, but even in Jingle All the Way, it's not you're feeling it, are you? He should be caring that his kid's not going to get the best robot.
Turbo Man. Yeah.
Toy.
That's what we're talking about.
Sorry, but
that's
the only two Arnie films I've seen.
Have we not seen Kindergarten Cop, where he's
that's crap.
He was it's not a tumour. Yeah.
That's how he delivers his lines. I don't even know how he's an actor.
Yeah, I guess you could say I think you talk about actors being pigeonholed into certain roles. I think he's very much like that, kind of a bit like, I don't know if The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I can tolerate The Rock more,
but he's got a bit more personality. But he does a lot of shit of recent, doesn't he?
But then he's Maui from Moana, so he does do some.
He's got
stuff.
Singing, yeah.
But then he's expressive. His face is it is more like a jokey kind of jovial thing for him. But when he's on screen, he can make you smile. Whereas I don't think the Terminator or him in Jingle All the Way or anything like that. I'm oh, it's Arnie. He's this fun, lovable guy. It's just this weird thing on the screen. I don't really know what he is. If it's perfect for being a robot and being a Terminator.
What I guess sort of this time around watching it, I definitely got it's low key, a slasher type film, with a horror element, because it's obviously a bit like Michael Myers, who kind of I said no emotion kind of thing, and just going around killing people kind of thing, and the pursuit of Sarah Connor. everything, and the whole like dark scene of LA kind of the 80s, and
oh yeah, because this is all going to happen where in
2029, where the future's like very dark
years.
and dismal. Yeah, the robot machines are taking over, and yeah, oh dear.
So we've not got long.
I love when films, obviously in like retrospect, like that's what they think the future's going to be like, and then when we actually get there, it's a bit like with Back to the Future and stuff like that. It's like, oh, where are our hoverboards and flying cars and all this kind of stuff? It's like this didn't happen, but it's fun to look back on like what they thought was going to happen
in 20 years' time. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I probably think in 40 years' time we could probably be there. Like,
no, I think it would have.
Well, Japan might be, because they've already got massive robots.
I mean, I know technology is advancing very quickly, even with like AI stuff now.
Yeah,
but it's
scary though, because like now the thought of that is like, imagine if someone wanted to hack your computer and they're on a call with you. It could be an AI robot that somebody's...
Yeah, which kind of like happens in the later on in the film where he's like, he got the voice of he thinks she's talking to her mum, and it's like
So it's the same kind of thing, but now you could actually probably have an AI of your mother and think you're on a Zoom call with her, but actually it's not.
Yeah.
Like, it could literally be that clever. Like, you could get scammed so easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think what's good is I've realised if the Terminator's after me, I've Googled it, and in our area, there's not many of my name around since I've married you. So
not in the phone book.
I'm not in the phone book.
Yeah.
But
which in itself is like crazy to think that's how like people like they're doxing people, like, oh, where do they live, or what's the phone.
That's so scary nowadays. Like to even think that exists.
I did. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen a phone book for donkey's years. Yeah.
Is that the same as Yellow Pages?
Yeah. That's I don't know actually. There was like different ones, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow Pages is more for like business, like you call a plumber or everything like that. But still, like to have somebody listed down in the thing, and like that's how they keep on top of who's living where and where they can reach people. It's just a bit strange, and just like in the fact that they're in like bars and stuff, and you just go to a phone booth and just look it up, and there's.
I guess that's the equivalent of Google nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then, like you said, that would only be for businesses. You wouldn't be able to like just find random people's like addresses and houses. But yeah, I think I don't know. Obviously, it's back in the 80s, isn't it? So if you think about it, like it has the whole 90s. Like, is it 30 years it's thinking of?
What do you mean the whole 90s? Sorry.
Well, like for it to thinking of it logically, that it's saying like in 2029, this like war's going to happen, and that's why everyone's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it set later on? Because it just says that, like, because basically they're thinking like 40 years roughly this is going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Sarah Connor, like, we meet her beforehand, and she's probably in her early 20s, would you say?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So basically when she's in another 40 years, she's going to be 60.
Mm-hmm. But it's obviously a son. It's the son that's going to be the savior. Yeah.
And what I don't get, and maybe you can help me.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy that says that the line that you said at the beginning,
Kyle Reese, who comes back naked as well, but he's not a cyborg.
It's really weird because I just thought the Terminator were good and he were bad for quite half of the film until I realised
that's partly the setup, because obviously like he's like following Sarah Connor like around these little like a shifty guy, like he's going to mug her or something like that.
And then I thought for a while that, he's her son. Like, like, is it because she's given, like, the whole idea is he's coming back to save her.
Yeah.
But then there's, like, a loophole, isn't there, where he comes back to see Sarah to, like, save her. But then they have this moment, which then means, like, they create this, like,
it's like
child.
Yeah.
And she's pregnant by the end of it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, thinking about it logically, the child must know that this already happened. Do you know what I mean? It seems a bit it hurts my head a bit.
It is sort of convoluted because obviously the timeline of how that works.
Because he'd always have to send his dad back to die. But then my question is, how's he there? It don't work. How's he there to send his dad back 100 years? Do you know what I mean? Or is the dad never born in the 80s, and he's the same age as the son at that point, and then gets sent back, but knows he's never coming back, and he's.
If it would sort of make more sense if it was like you say, like it being that Kyle Reese, obviously with the namesake, he's not going to be called John Connor, who's that's the thing, but for that, that's just a cover name, and it is actually that's what he's called, and it's his son and everything. That's because like, oh, Mom, I've got to save you because otherwise I won't be born, kind of thing, or whatever. But it's. But then obviously there's who is the father? Then he's got to be somebody that's got to be of significance to obviously for him her to be pregnant and give birth to him in the future. But it's
But I just don't know how that bit pieces together. Apart from it being, he's never been in the Easter universe before.
Mm-hmm. He's never existed.
Somebody else has given birth to him probably the same time as she's given birth to John, and they're probably the same age as what John is now in that 2029 era.
Mm-hmm.
He idolises John, so he's doing John a favour. Mm-hmm. But then do you get where I'm coming from, where before that time travel happens, because John has been successful, how does he always time travel there then, for whatever reason? Like, do you know what I'm meaning?
Yeah, kind of.
Because it's like, well, you haven't got to that point, so how do you know to send him
back to that point? And
Am
so
I nitpicking, or am I...
No, not necessarily. I think there is reasoning to what you're saying, but I wish I had like a definite answers to why they did it the way they did it. But
because I just don't feel like he's known. Or is she always gonna? Is it always just gonna be that vicious loop where Terminator comes and gets, like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what happens in the next film, where she does have John Connor, he's a young boy, and so they try and like, got to terminate him again so that he doesn't grow up to be a...
That's awful. Same Terminator, or what? Well, Terminator's dead, so how can you have another Terminator? He gets crushed by the metal thing.
That's the thing, there's more than one Terminator. It's like a whole...
But it's still Arnie.
Like, it's like in a factory just churning out another one type of thing.
Oh, so there's like thousands of Arnies? Or the different looking Terminators?
I mean, there's obviously, like, where you see the exoskeleton, the skeleton of the machine underneath the skin, it's like, that's the base point, and so, like, some of them, they haven't even bothered to put the thing, and it's just, obviously, that's just a massive, to blend in with society, you put them in a suit, as it were.
So they've just reproduced Arnie as he was then, basically. Mm-hmm. He's dead in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've made a, 0.2 version.
I guess you could say that, yeah. Or just another copy of thing, and that's what they do, and that's how they obviously take over. That's the machines.
Why are the machines taking over?
It's just I think a scary thing for the future. Just like we're saying about AI stuff, is like taking over, isn't it? And before long we are actually fighting a war against the machines because they're getting too intelligent. And what did you make of like the effects and?
Didn't get why they were electric when the time travelled. I didn't understand that. I just thought there was a storm and then men were dropping from the sky.
Yeah.
Just didn't get that. Overall, I don't think it was too bad until the back end when Arnie's character was like getting disfigured and he was looking in the mirror and like you could tell like that. Mask
I mean, if I'm being honest, I was like, I'm all for practical effects, as you know, but even I was like, oh, that's very painfully obvious. That's just a animatronic prosthetic.
Don't get me wrong, it was cringy still, but then like when he was pulling his eye out.
Oh, with the arm, that looked alright with the with the thing. Obviously, you did actually look away and go, oh, that's a bit gross, which gives it sort of like it's 15 rated, but I think back then it probably seemed like
But it just looked like his face were going to drop off, like when he was up close. It just didn't look natural. Like from afar, everything was.
Yeah. There's certain points where it didn't look so bad, but just on that one, I think there's kind of bright light in that dark room or whatever. But sort of kind of emphasised that, but it was just like a bit janky. Like he just. It doesn't look like thing, and then obviously then cuts to him like putting the glasses on, and everything's okay then.
Yeah.
At that point, even like there's like the sort of like that stop motion thing when he comes out of the fire and he's stripped of all his outer skin, and
it's alright.
There's a bit like, I mean, it's still impressive. Like even like the actual robotics of like when you see like the close up shots and like that must have taken ages to put that together as a design thing because all the like the pistons and stuff like that to make it to move and look realistic, but not like that looks awful compared to some like stop motion films we've seen in the past or whatever, or I've seen. But
no, to be fair, it was when he became like all his flesh had come off him. He did look more scarier then.
Yeah.
As a robot, attacking you.
Yeah, the red eyes and everything. Yeah, and just
But still, part of me did think, well, when is he actually going to die? What's the thing that's going to kill him? Because you're throwing everything at him, and he's just not dying.
Obviously, they've got future weapons, but Kyle Reese doesn't have anything in that in 80s LA. So it's like, well, what are you actually gonna? What's going to be the end result for stopping him?
But then shouldn't Reese know? Shouldn't he have brought some weapons to shoot him down from the future? And obviously, his character just looks like he's a schizophrenia. He's
yeah, when he's taking in the police and everything. Yeah.
They think he's got issues and he's just mentally disturbed.
Yeah.
Also, I feel sorry for the two other Sarahs that do get killed.
Yeah.
You know, Arnie's just seeing Sarah Connor, right? Are you Sarah Connor? Yeah.
Yep.
Right, dead. And it's like, well, poor people. Obviously, this Sarah Connor matters, apparently. But I think the only reason why it matters is it's not for Sarah Connor, it's because of Reese, probably. It's
for the son, no.
Yeah, no, but I think, to tango to make a son. Obviously, Sarah said she wasn't any of the things that Reese said she was, that she heard from John. So, probably Reese's character made her... Is it Reese?
Kyle Reese, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, why me? Why am I the saviour? And then knowing this knowledge that things kind of sort of turns around at the end. Obviously, she's seen things of what this Terminator can do, and obviously the pursuit of that. But from also the beginning, and also just how the film develops, and obviously it's a bit like with Alien, where it's obviously Ripley's on this, how she sort of develops from learn what's this alien that's and then sort of hardens up from that even more so, and then that's it's developed, and that's all they do with the other films and such.
She's a strong, independent woman, isn't she, by the end of it? And obviously she's got a baby, so it's even credit to her for just being by herself, raising a child and running away from what's going to come her way, knowing that her purpose is bigger than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, good strong female lead. I'll give it that. In the end, but
not so sure about the style and with everybody's style. We're in that club with Tech Noir and everyone's doing that kind of dancing. That's the cringe. Do people actually really dance and dress like that and have the hairstyle? It's good.
They did.
And to think people whoa, you look
great.
You look great. Yeah.
You can say that about the 90s though.
Yeah, in some respects, yeah.
I went into Asda today and I went down looking at George, and there's loads of leopard print stuff, and I'm thinking,
oh, we're back to that now.
We are.
Yeah.
We've come a full swing,
Spice
Girls kind of thing, that back into that era, and I was like, oh, when you feel old enough that your era comes back.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jesus. Because the 90s is now back, it's early 90s.
Yeah, that's now retro now, isn't it? As opposed to the 60s and 70s, yeah.
Makes you feel great.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else happens. Obviously, they're saying there's a nuclear war, and after that, everything kind of goes down south, So she knows, Sarah's got a lot of uphill battle to deal with.
Yeah, I've not really bothered with. There's I don't even know how many sequels there are, but other than obviously I said Terminator 2, but that's just probably about as far as I've gone with it. I feel like it's one of those things where it's getting a bit. Not say silly, but it's just not going to hit the same as what these two films. I will say I was kind of still quite impressed by what the film had to offer, especially seeing it as you can take this as a horror character with stalking his prey and everything like that. Definitely so. Effects still hold up, but at the same time I felt like there's a bit of it. It was it did sort of drag. I don't know. There's a certain point. I know it's got to space out the action, shooting out with it in the police station and all that kind of stuff with the thing. But there's certain parts that are I don't know, speed it up a little bit or something. Whereas with the second one, I don't think there's anything go through it. It's oh my god, this is amazing. This everything about it is just incredible. But I don't know if that's just because of the Terminator thing is already been established, whereas obviously there's got to be a thing about Sarah Connor's oh, she's just a waitress in a thing. She doesn't know what's going on or anything like that until the point, and then it's like, oh, like, why you got to save me and everything, and they'll go through and all that journey and stuff, which obviously you got to do, and that's why I kind of want to started with this before we, at some point, get to Terminator 2, perhaps. But I think it's still really solid film, and obviously has paved the way for a lot of sci-fi action films in the future. So there's praise for that for sure. But I don't know if I know it's not really your bag anyway. But just to get your thoughts on it, really, is to, and I guess we'll go to score.
Okay,
if that's okay.
First,
yeah.
It's long. It's some question marks still over certain things for me. I feel like it could be remade a lot better and more coherent. I think there's certain parts which are good, but I think other parts, like the time frame of Kyle Reese coming back and Sarah actually like being pregnant and all of that, seems a little bit loosey-goosey for my liking. I don't actually think they've really fully thought about it. They're just like, oh yeah, the dad will come back and that'll work. And it's like, yeah, but how do you know every time that he needs to come back? You know, like, I feel like watching a lot of Marvel films, like Spider-Man versus
Spider-Verse, yeah.
Like, there's loads of different outcomes, like... And
some of those have, like, predetermined. They always got to happen. Like, you got to have a casualty with, like, Uncle Ben or whatever, that kind of stuff.
So, like...
There's always got to be that.
Maybe it is that he always has to come back, but...
He's predetermined.
Or he's always going to die. But at the same time, it's like, well, how does that always happen in every verse? Like, it's always going to be something different. Because that's what it feels like if it's time travel. There should be, like, different... I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking too much into it. But I think it's not as tightly knit. I think they've just had an idea and gone, oh yeah, that sounds good, we'll stick that there. I think Arnie as a character, this is probably one of his best performances I've seen him in. Obviously the other ones are a bit more comedic /
Yeah, they are. Yeah, very much.
But he does play a good Terminator, I guess. But that's maybe because he is expressionless. Yeah. Am I really like, yeah, this is the best film ever? Probably not, because it is like a slasher / sci-fi / action film, which is not really what I'm down for.
Not the Holy Trinity for you, is it? No.
No. Apart from Sarah Connor being a female empowered woman. But then I do think, well, she only just met this man and he says he's going to save her, and then she sleeps with him in a hotel, and it's like, what is it? Not even a day? It does make me question mark her a little bit, but I have to make it pace a little bit so they can put all the action in. The I'll be back thing really disappointed me as well, because it's like, I didn't know why he'd be back, and then he just drives a car through the police station and I'm just like, oh, is that it? Like, I don't know, I just assumed there were going to be more to that than met the eye, and I was a bit disappointed.
What would you expected it to be?
I don't know, more Arnie's coming in, like, or like an army of them, like,
right.
Or him do something like a bit more impactful and just drive a car into a reception's desk.
Right, okay.
I don't know. I'd have rather he'd found a helicopter somewhere and he finds the room where Sarah is and drags her out. Or, I don't know. Yeah. Something more extreme than that. Like, seems very basic for a robot to just think, oh, I'll get this car and ram it through a desk. I feel like there should be more intelligence there. But overall, it's not the worst film I've seen. Am I really invested to watch the rest of him? Probably not. If you recommend 2, I could do that, but I don't think I'd want to go any further.
No, neither would I. But that's definitely more of a solid recommendation for that, if there is to go that path. But
I think probably, for me being fair, it's probably going to have to be a 6.
Right, okay.
Like, I'm not in love. I don't really, apart from Sarah at the end, think she's a worthy-ish character. I'm not really invested. Like, I think if you like that kind of thing, then you'll love it. Yeah. If you don't, then you're just going to be like me, and I feel a bit meh over it all.
Indifferent,
I'm just a bit like, it's a film that I were aware of, and I feel like it has had a lot of hype, and I've just gone in too late, and it's been a bit anticlimactic.
No, I get that. Yeah, I kind of figured it probably would be. I wasn't really expecting you to be like, truth be told, like, wow, this is like best thing ever. Like, how did I miss out on this? And so many years.
To be honest, I'll be fair. Like, I know I wrote the Titanic lower. I think I was really harsh to the Titanic.
Mhm.
I do really like
Which would you prefer watching?
I'd probably want to watch Titanic.
Here's another question, because I know we haven't reviewed it, but Terminator or Avatar, because he was the same director for that as well.
Probably say Avatar.
Oh, right, okay. Even though that was like 3 hours
Yeah,
long.
but you've got more story and it's more to do with like habitats, and there is more stuff around it, and it is visually pleasing a lot more.
That's true. Yeah, I can't really say that it isn't. But,
I think I would, but probably out of all three, I'd say Titanic. Even though I slag it off, like Rose is a bitch, but.
So for me, this, what I say may or may not shock you, or if not, but for the score is. But I think I definitely sort of agree with the sort of like the on you like saying, oh, this film maybe gets quite a lot of high praise, perhaps. I do see some merits. I do see why people be like, oh, this is like one of the greatest films ever. Personally, for me, if I was going either or, I'd like say like Terminator 2 is definitely would prefer to see it again, because I've seen it more than I have this one. I think there's more substance in there. I think it's more like the sort of like lines, like recurring lines come back in and all that kind of stuff, and it just seems a bit more like more on a budget, whereas this was quite, not saying like on a shoestring budget, but I think there was a lot of like, what's it called, guerrilla filmmaking, where it's kind of like, we've got to get this shot and then just like move off really quickly before we're going to get the thing, because it's like less, which you wouldn't think, because obviously like with the fact that they've got the animatronics stuff and going on, that just costs a lot. It doesn't look cheap, but I think as I said before, like some of it did feel a bit bogged down at parts. Like it was just not, some of it wasn't particularly interesting for what was being conveyed, really. But the sort of like the action stuff and the pursuit for the tracking Sarah Connor down and all everything was sort of like makes up for that in a way. So I'm gonna put 8.5.
That's quite high.
Yeah, so it's not quite. I don't think it'll quite get to 9, really.
Well, if that's the case, if that's an 8.5, then I feel like Terminator 2 must be a 9 then.
Yeah, creeping in. if we're going to say like primitive that, but so like I get the importance behind it, but I don't see it's quite favourably as it's like not like top marks really for the film. I think there's other films I would definitely put on over this one. Is one trying to say.
100%.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I sort of say expected.
It's nice of you.
It's no singing in the rain, is it?
No. Nothing nice about it.
So there we have it. There's Sophie's thoughts on Terminator. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Wonder if we've lost loads of listeners now.
Well, at this point, there's probably other films that we've covered and be like, what?
Like E.T.
Well, I mean, I'm not really big on that, am I? So, but like Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and things like that.
Don't know what that film is.
Like, yep, we've done all the housekeeping with the Patreons and the.
Feels weird now. I've struggled how to wrap it up. I'm so used to.
Yeah, but it's not. I think it's quite a nice, refreshing change of pace, because it's kind of like just say thanks everyone for listening, and just look forward to what Patrons pick for next time.
Yeah, please pick something better.
Well, do you want to maybe assist then on what things we compare them up then, if we go for that? Because shortly we'll be going into anime.
Yay!
That'll be the next one, but we've got.
Can we have proper anime though?
What do you mean by that? Like
actual anime, not like this weird stuff that I don't know. I don't class as anime. Like fluffy anime. At least one.
Oh, there'll be a couple. Yeah, there's a fair few that go through. You mean that don't not all to be dark anime?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grungy, like Akira. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for listening once again, and we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll be back.